We're ready to trek those stars, everyone. It was a little unexpected, but here we go.
Hello and welcome to an incredibly special weekly MTG. We have an amazing show for you today. It is the first look at Magic the Gathering Star Trek. So what is a first look? Why are we doing this in July when the set comes out much later this year? Well, every year, sometime around now, distributors, stores have to start putting in their orders, and we like to let them know a little bit more about what's going on with the set so they can kind of make their decisions. But you know what? As a bonus, you get to see stuff too. So we're going to show a bunch of stuff from the upcoming Star Trek set today. We're going to preview cards. We're going to show booster fun. We're going to talk about the headliners. We're going to steal some cool moments from the show's history. And we're going to talk about all of that with two fantastic guests here. I will note, you may be out in the world right now. You may see Gavin or me on an airplane or in Amsterdam. We're pre-taping this because you're seeing this right before MagicCon Amsterdam, and we're flying or somewhere in the world at this point.
Can y'all hear it all right?
But we wanted to make sure to get this out for all of you to enjoy. So
I bet the crystalline entity be
do
colorless.
all this taped. We have Gavin and Tom. Why don't you tell us real quick what you work on the set, and give me a little bit when you fall in love with Star Trek.
Yeah, so hey everybody, my name's Gavin Verhey, principal designer on Magic the Gathering. And I was lead designer for the set. I started working on the set years and years ago. It's been a long time coming, but in a way I've been working on it for a very long time because I fell in love with Star Trek when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I was watching some episodes of the original series with my dad on our old little tiny TV, and it became a thing we all did as a family together, was watch Star Trek. So I've loved it for a long time, watched the series as they've come out, and have so many favorite episodes, but I gotta say, my fave is The Inner Light. I love this episode. It is an amazing story telling how Picard sees like an entire life play out before his eyes. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What are you, Tom?
I'm Tom Jenka. I'm the creative director for Booster Fun and Secret Lair Drop. Unlike Blake and Gavin, I'm live, so I don't believe what they're saying.
How we pulled that off is anyone's guess.
I've watched like everything
Better?
Star Trek, but I'm definitely an original series guy. Some of my favorites are, the Devil in the Dark, the Ultimate Computer, Taste of Armageddon, like these things where, they deal with like societal issues.
Hopefully they ignore
It's really
Discovery
cool.
too. I agree with you.
I'm super excited to
I'm a
work
Discovery
on
hater.
what the collectability plan is, all the special different treatments, leading a team doing that. It was just kind of a dream, and I may have done too much. I may have
Absolutely
put
not.
too
No.
many
So
cool
this
things
set,
in
this
there.
set, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it pretty fast. This set has some of the coolest collectibles that
Don't
we
forget to like,
ever
folks.
created, and we're gonna get to those pretty soon. But to do that, first I wanted to start by talking about the captains.
You guys know you also
really
have
kind of define the eras.
volume
of
controls on
Star
your
Trek.
machines as
And
well.
so we
can
are
turn
going
it
to
up.
start with a pair of preview cards for captains. And there's only one place for us to start. It's with Captain James T.
Here's Captain Kirk.
Gavin, why don't you start us off talking a little bit about the design of Kirk here?
Absolutely. We knew we had to do a Kirk. Obviously, there's going to be a Kirk in this set, right? The captain of the original series, one of the most iconic characters in all of science fiction. Here is Captain James T. Kirk. Every turn, you get to do a little something. He gets to make a choice. And when his back is up against the wall, when you're out of options, that's when you get to do all of them, which I think is quite fun. One thing I'll note on this card in particular is the first mode is discard a card, then draw a card, but the drawing a card is not contingent on you discarding. So if you're out of cards, you actually just go up a card, which is really strong. So when his back is against the wall, when he's battered and beat up, like in that first image there, he's ready to go at his strongest. And this is a really exciting red aggressive card, and I think shows off Captain Kirk in a great way. It's not the only Kirk you'll see across the product suite, of course, but he is a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
And Tom, the booster fun here is gorgeous. What's going on with this classic Enterprise?
Yeah, so for these classic Enterprise cards, we definitely wanted to lean into this retro vibe. We looked at like old movie posters, old lobby
I don't know
cards,
what it is. Maybe
all
it's
over
the stream because this is as loud as I can get it.
You can see that we lean into this bubbly texture, like you can see the Enterprise there around the set symbol. And I've personally held one of those Surge cards, and oh my God, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Also getting some of these treatments, we've got Captain Catherine Janeway.
Captain
here.
Janeway.
We get
She's green.
with the L-Cars frame and the regular. So let's start with
an
talking
L-Cars
about the
frame.
design here, Gavin.
Yeah, I don't know about
absolutely. So
L-Cars.
Voyager fans, of course, Janeway's here. One of the great things I love about this set is it covers all of Star Trek, right? So if there's a show or a character you love, decent chance they're in this set, I'd say, especially the big ones. Janeway is, on the Voyager, out, lost, constantly exploring. And we thought, what better place to bring back the explore mechanic? Now, explore was something we actually tried throughout the whole set for a little while. It did not end up sticking, but we kept it on exactly Janeway in the main set. So it was kind of one of those cameo mechanics showing up there. And you could play extra lands, and when you play creatures, you get to go exploring. So it's a pretty good engine as well for your decks out there. Very cool card. And then the L-Cars frame, Tom, let's talk about this.
Yeah, like as soon as we saw in the brainstorming sessions, as soon as we saw the Voyager L-Cars computer screen, we knew it was going to be a frame, right? And it just really worked perfectly here.
I'm honestly
it's a
not
perfect
sure if these are
I'll
the
also say
standard
one thing
or
we saw
commander
both on
only. I
Kirk
really
the
don't
Token
know.
and Catherine Janeway here is Officer is a new creature type showing up in this set. There's a lot of stations someone could have on a starship. Officer was a good catch-all, so you'll see plenty of officers throughout this set.
Now, what they're certainly going to be looking at are these headliner cards. We are going to take a short, it's not a break. We're going to go to a video. They're going to show you some headliner cards. We're going to come back and talk about it. So let's take a look at this video. Be prepared for something very cool, and then we'll talk more about it.
Signed autograph cards.
So that's right. For the first time in Magic's history, these are cards with actual signatures on them. And Tom, my understanding, you were actually there when they signed them.
Yeah, I personally oversaw this project, working all of the contracts, etc., bringing these cards to these actors to have them signed. It was quite an experience, obviously, for being such a fan. William, we were at William's office in California. Clearly, he was there for decades, and he was like an absolute pro, at signing, right? He had me hold down the cards. I guarantee you, a lot of these have my fingerprints on them. Sorry. And he signed him, and then my partner Brian Boyce grabbed him like as soon as
Mike
that
D.
one was
Quist,
grabbed, he
Guanchius, how
signed
you
him
doing? John Mackin.
Absolute pros. He's asking about Magic fans, how these cards would show up, all sorts of things. It was a very interesting. And we, for Kate Mulgrew, we met her at the Star Trek convention in Vegas in 2025. We went up to her suite. While she was signing cards, she talked to us about recent roles she had been in and how important it was for her to be the first female captain.
Very cool. And now, Gavin, I saw that there are 7 total of these. Should we expect them all to be captains?
No, we've shown you 2 captains today, and certainly that makes sense for some of them, but they're not all captains. There's some other characters that are so iconic, they had to get in on the fun too. So do a little guessing game, try and see if you can guess who the other 5 are.
They clearly had to be people who are alive and actors, so.
That does help, yeah, that does help. But yeah, there's some fun ones in there, and I'm excited for you to see them all. And it's such a cool moment to get to know that like these actors saw these cards, signed them, and then we.
That's about all I'm looking
so that's
forward
just
to is the
incredible.
Borg.
Yeah.
About how many of them are there, Tom?
So all in all, there's a little north of 200 of each of these out there.
All right. Okay. Let's now, so something we don't often do at first look is talk mechanics. We usually save those for the debut. But Gavin, when we were talking about this set, it just became apparent how woven into the fabric of the set. I mean, it's true for a lot of sets and every set in a way, but
We don't know
we
yet,
just really
John.
couldn't talk about this set in any form or fashion without talking about the mechanics.
Yeah, the set is very unique in a lot of ways. When you think about Star Trek, you think about moral choices, you think about diversity of characters, you think about building up and trying to go out exploring. And of course there's some combat, there's spaceships shooting at each other, and people doing reconnaissance missions on the ground, but a lot of it is not that. And Magic is a game that has a lot of combat in it. So how are we going to tackle this? And one of the notes I've heard the most from fans is how are you going to make those things work together, right?
Yeah.
And I want to show you some of the mechanics today to kind of highlight how we did that.
Yeah.
So let's start with one that's returning, that is a great example of a build-up mechanic that makes so much sense
There
for
we
Star
go.
Trek. To the surprise of maybe no one.
Absolutely 0 people are surprised to see the Enterprise here.
Right, so you might spend a bunch of time crewing up your spacecraft, which is coming back from Edge of Eternities. This is not the only Enterprise in the set. In fact, I'll tell you the main set has an uncommon, a rare, and a mythic rare. But this is a pretty darn cool one that is a card advantage engine on top of a 4/5 flying vigilance, so not too shabby. And it really goes to show that build-up gameplay, right? You're like slowly turning this on over time and getting some cards as you kind of do it. And then one thing I'll call out is even once it's a creature, you can keep stationing it to flip the top card of your library.
Yeah.
So it continually lets you pick up new cards over time.
So there's
and
going to be
we still
multiple
see a slam dunk
versions
for
of
the
each
set, and
ship.
You'll see the Enterprise as well as many other starships that you recognize.
As always, I mean, the art
here.
is.
But
We knew
starships in
Station was
Star
coming
Trek
back. We
are
knew
almost as
spacecrafts
iconic as the characters.
were coming back. I mean, that's the rumor was that's why they
Now,
made Edge of Eternities.
You were talking earlier about how there's a lot of choices and thinking, and so how did you represent that mechanically?
Yeah, we spent a long time trying to figure out how to bring that to a Magic the Gathering Star Trek set. And we came along a couple things. I'm going to show you some of them to you today. So the first one I want to show you is something you've seen before, but makes a lot of sense here. And that are these modal choice cards. So in Star Trek, you have a lot of decisions you have to make. People are always having quandaries about what they should do. And we figured what better way than to actually have you make those choices. So with the card on the left, set phasers to stun or kill is maybe one of the most iconic lines in the show. And now you can make that choice. And stun counters are like the perfect thing for this, right?
Oh, go ahead. I was always thinking too with the choices with
That's
McCoy
pretty
and
clever.
Spock and Kirk, like they always kind of represented like a single brain to me, kind of thinking out loud, making internal
Discussing
choices.
and figuring this out. So, Tom, you're playing the set and you're like hearing them in your head.
Yeah, for sure. Probably not just when I'm playing the set, probably all the time.
You have a Spock on one shoulder and Kirk
yeah.
on the other shoulder, and you're either they're arguing a little bit. So you'll see a lot of modal choices in the set. I love that we brought back flavor words to use on them to really show off what the modes are as well. And so you could, set phasers to stun or kill, or are you going to interfere with this planet and help them out, or observe and oh no, they get tapped and stunned. But we also wanted to do something else. After we put enough these modal cards in the set, we're like, this is really an iconic part of the set. Can we do something with that?
I want to pause you there just because I know where you're going. But I wanted to, I want to go back to the cards because This I thought was a really good place to pause and talk about, the mix of artists for this set. Zoltan Boros has done a ton of Magic stuff, and Tom, I know you worked with a lot of those artists.
Yeah, here he is like doing some of his best, and so it's just worthwhile to mention that like a lot of classic.
Honestly,
Magic artists
Phasers
are
isn't that
so
bad for
excited
one
about
instant.
Some of these properties,
It's not that terrible.
A property that we're working on. They are just emailing all the ADs that they know to get on this set, and here we see Zoltan doing something here. He's definitely working on other properties. People are just really excited to get on. The artists are very
Consider
excited.
Prime Directive is.
All right, Gavin, I interrupted you, but you were talking about how these choices then were woven more into the set.
It's all good. We love a good cliffhanger episode, a two-parter as it were. So we wanted to weave these choices more and more into the set, and we came with something new that we've never done in Magic before, that is a brand new thing.
Oh,
for
new
the
mechanic.
Set, and
New mechanic.
that is calling these dilemmas. So let's go to the next card. So whenever you face a dilemma, and you face a dilemma whenever you pick a mode for a spell or ability, so any modal choice card in Magic history, it could be the cards we just saw, like Set Phasers 2. It could be the Kirk that we saw as the first card today. It could be Vision Charm from years and years ago. Those are all dilemmas that you face, and then something happens when you face that dilemma. And usually if it's on a character, it's how that character would act when they encounter some kind of challenge, right? If they're in a dilemma themselves. 7 of 9 is always about learning, acquiring information, trying to figure out what's going on. And so when she faces a dilemma, she's like, you know what? I'd like a little more information before I make my choice, and that's exactly what she's going to do here. Dilemmas show up mostly in blue-black in the set. And
She's
it's a
considered
fun
a
little
human
way
scientist,
to kind
so
of, build a
she's
brand
an
new kind of
artifact
deck.
human. So are
Modal
Borg
choices
going to
throughout
be
the whole set,
artifact
but
humans?
Specifically, dilemmas show up in blue-black. And I look forward to players looking back at all of Magic history and trying to find their favorite dilemmas to go and face as they build, say, a commander deck with 7 of 9.
All right, let's take a look at our next preview card. We have Hoshi Sato with that Federation ability, Gavin.
Yeah, so one of the other things that's really important
we
about
do have
Star Trek,
Enterprise.
as I mentioned at the top here, was that diversity of character and species, right? It's about bringing a crew of all kinds of different folks together in one place, and I wanted a mechanic to represent that. So Federation counts the number of unique creature types among non-Borg creatures you control, which is especially notable because in Star Trek, nobody's an alien, right? You will not find the alien type on a single card in this set because everybody is from somewhere. And so I wanted to highlight that and make that matter in some way. And so counting them all up was a pretty unique way to do that. And it's, if you work hard, you can get Hoshi Sato to look at a lot of cards from the top of your library.
Yeah.
You might be wondering why the non-Borg thing is there. Well, there's two reasons. One is the Borg don't hang out with the Federation, so that makes sense. The second is we had to make sure that changelings did not go crazy with this, right?
Yeah.
If you control one changeling, you didn't look at your entire library. So that was the thing we were pretty careful about, and that's why that's showing up there. There's not a ton of these cards in the set. There's only a handful, but I think it's a good little touch on top to make it feel like you're doing something like building a crew, and it makes it feel very different from something else you played before.
Absolutely. So those are the mechanics we are going to talk about, but we're not done with preview cards. Not even.
Or mechanics, by the way. There are more
There
mechanics
is
in this set.
technically, yes. This is the mechanics. I think we're going to touch on something
Can we
later.
just show them everything?
We're going to show them as much as we can. We're not holding back. We're holding back some things. But I thought it might be fun. Again, we've talked about, when you started on Star Trek and what your favorite series is. I thought it'd be fun to go through some of the series, somewhat, not all of them. Again, we're holding some things back. But to go through some familiar characters and moments from the series across time. And of course, we're going to start with the original
We
series.
haven't seen any warp yet. I'm assuming that they'll probably include warp, but we haven't seen it yet.
Favorite moments in cards? We're going to start with highly illogical.
Yeah. I love this moment. I love that Spock is not freaking out. He is observing. And I love where we took this moment too from the original series, like the look of it, the look of the rabbit, right?
That was very
For
clever.
me,
moment,
one of the fun
very
things
true.
was getting quotes on cards, things that you want to say if you're playing a Star Trek set.
Yeah.
Highly illogical was a day one where we have to get that in the set somewhere. And as a counter spell, it's perfect, right? Your opponent plays a spell, and you're like, that's highly illogical.
Yeah. All right.
Prof
next
is gonna
up,
crap his pants 'cause of
We have
this.
a creature that does spell stuff here. We have
Ooh, Salt
a
Vampire.
Salt Vampire. This is a wild card. Tom, give us a little context on the Salt Vampire.
Sure, I love Nancy here. I love me some good Salt Vampire.
That's a good
again, we see
card.
this in these retro frames here. This is a creature from the very first aired episode of Star Trek. Somebody pointed out to me earlier, not the first filmed, but the first aired. So that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gavin, mechanically, what do we see with the Salt Vampire?
Yeah, this card is very exciting. It's a 2-mana vampire, so vampire fans get excited. It kind of has a Vendelian click style effect, where you look at their hand, you exile one of their cards, and they get a brand new card, plus it's a lifelinker to boot. One of the things that was really fun about the set for me was finding that fusion of Magic and Star Trek. And oh, you've got a vampire in your show? Well, Magic has a lot of vampires. Let's get that in the set somewhere, right? So it's a cool way to kind of blend those two things together.
Absolutely.
And I think you can expect to see a lot of Salt Vampires out there on your Magic tables in the future.
Now, we started talking, favorite series, favorite episodes, favorite stories, which, of course, Gavin leads us into.
Sagas. So something that I love
Darmok at
are
Tanagra.
trying to find ways to
We're gonna
represent
get
the episodes
Darmok at Tanagra,
of Star
got it.
Trek through storytelling. And one of the best ways to do that in Magic are sagas. So in the main set, there are 5 uncommons and 5 rares that are 10 iconic episodes from throughout the series history. We're going to show you a couple today. You can guess at maybe some of the others. But for this one, it's one of the most iconic shots in all of
Shock
Star
out
Trek.
when the walls fell.
This episode always felt like kind of 2 episodes to me. I love
Amok
this
Time.
is such a good one.
And as Spock and Kirk fight each other, and then one of them wins, and it's over, but oh no, the other one is dead. Except, don't worry, they're not actually. They come right on back. And it kind of tells that little moment from this iconic story right there on a card for you. And some of the uncommons, are on the simple side, and they're actually, I tried to keep them mostly somewhat simple and approachable. But there is one that I got a little wacky with because I just had to.
This one is wild, yep. All right, let's see our next preview card here. The City on the Edge of Forever, along with its token there. Everybody at home, take a sec, read this, digest it. Real quick, what's the story that's being talked about here?
Yeah, so The City on the Edge of Forever is, depending on who you ask, the best episode of Star Trek of all time. It is pretty high in fan
All
polls.
creatures
It's often
phase
in the
out.
conversation. It is a beloved episode. And I wanted to capture that here. And I really wanted to use the phasing mechanic to do it. And they're like, really, phasing? And we tried a lot of other things and eventually came all the way back to phasing. So you're not going to see a ton of phasing cards in the set, but it is the right thing here. Because in the episode, they travel back in time, they mess something up. The whole world as they know it basically goes away. It's all phased out. And this lady, Edith Keeler, here on the right, if she stays alive, the world will stay phased out as these characters knew it. So as it turns out, despite the fact that Kirk loves Edith Keeler must die. And and they end up killing her in the end, and everything comes back to reality. So with this card, first everything phases out, and you make Edith right here. Then you kind of look around, you draw some cards, get some knowledge, and then at the end you sacrifice a creature token, which could be Edith Keeler to make sure everything comes back.
Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. But maybe you're like, I want the episode to play out differently this time. I'm going to sacrifice my 1/1 officer token.
Sure.
And now everything is still phased out, and there's a little mini game around this card. It's a very, very interesting card and an interesting answer to artifacts and creatures, a little temporary board wipe. So a really wild one to play with, and definitely a unique oddball. This is by far the wildest one in the set, and I hope you all enjoy it.
All right. As much
Phasers.
as Tom might like us to, we can't stick with the original series forever. Let's take a quick peek around some cards for the next generation, starting with Dr. Beverly Crusher here.
Yeah, doctors, of course, throughout the set, all kinds of famous doctors in Star Trek. And this is one that just made so much sense. We came with this design really early, and it stuck almost the entire way through. I believe this was Ethan Fleischer, so shout out to Ethan. It's a life gain trigger doubler, and also it's a Johnny's Pride Mate that gets bigger as you gain life. So a lot of great things players like in one place, and I think this will be a very popular commander to build around.
Yep. And Tom, there's that L-Cars
That
frame again.
L-Cars frame is so beautiful here, and that's Surge. I'm telling you.
Surge foil, yep. That is, and by the way, that is simulated.
Yeah.
When we get closer to the actual release, we'll have some physical ones and some videos and some really cool ways to show off.
Yeah, that's a powerful ass card right there.
Yeah, Surge foil is very
Of
exciting.
course, Life Gain needed it. Life Gain's so weak right now.
Okay. Our next generation card, Crystalline Entity.
Hey,
This one's kinda
there it
wild
is.
Here, Gavin.
Yeah, so this is a really iconic moment with this huge, wild, almost inscrutable creature, Eldrazi-like almost in a way. And like I said, I looked for those areas where you've kind of found that combination of Magic and Star Trek.
Yeah.
And when you look at this thing, you're like, this could just be on a Magic card in a set somewhere, right? Like it totally makes sense.
It's an elemental. Yeah.
There's so
I
much
told
to
you it
love
was gonna
about
be an
this. And
elemental.
So this is a cool mythic. It's a huge board sweeper creature, which you don't see all the time. If you're playing any kind of artifact commander deck, you'll want to jam this in there. In limited, it is a great curve topper. It might even have some standard applications. Maybe you love Urzatroning this out. I don't know. There's all kinds of options you could do here. It is a very, very, very cool card. And I love when you find something that is so elegant. It doesn't have that much game text on it.
Yeah.
But you read it and you're like, wow, that's
There it
powerful.
is.
I think the flavor text, too, from Jean-Luc Picard himself does well to sum up everything going on here.
Absolutely. All right, and next we are
Perfect for
going
an Ugin
to
deck. Yeah, you would
visit
mulligan, wouldn't
Deep
you?
Space Nine with our next preview card, Gavin, In the Pale Moonlight.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine is my personal favorite of the
In the Pale,
series.
Pale
I love
Moonlight.
this one, and I wanted to make sure it had cool saga representation. So this is one of the most iconic episodes as a saga. Make your opponents to sack some stuff, investigate, and then you get the choice if you want to sacrifice that clue token, perhaps, or maybe a creature to make 2 Romulan tokens. Another brand new kind of token for the set.
Now, Gavin, you were saying earlier that we're hitting all the TV shows. When you said it, did you mean like all the TV shows?
Yeah, we got them all in there, even the animated ones. And here's something I'm very excited about, which is we got Lower Decks, of course, a fan favorite.
I've been
which
meaning
is
to
in
watch
here.
Lower Decks.
You're getting some cheering from the booth.
You can't see them. Producers back are like shaking. Yeah. All right, so we got Brad Boimler, Eager Ensign, and Beckett Mariner.
Yeah, so these two iconically are together all the time in the Lower Deck show, and we had to make sure that they were not only in the set, but that they worked well together. So we'll start with the one on the right with Beckett. Whenever she becomes tapped, she sort of works toward her promotion, but it never quite works out. She gets too close to promotion, and she does something reckless and gets demoted a little bit. Brad, on the other hand, when he becomes tapped, he increases the number of counters that go on your creatures this turn. And of course, there are mini counters in the set. +1/+1 counters can go on things. When you station a spacecraft, it helps out those kind of counters.
Yep.
But in the case of Beck in particular, maybe you help her get promoted a little quicker than normal and dealing damage to your opponent. So a really nice
He
1-2
looks like
punch.
Jack Quaid
And
there.
we loved finding ways for these iconic character duos to come together, especially in limited. You'll note these are both uncommon cards. So sometimes in draft, in red-white, you will just have both of these in your deck. And I think that's a really cool way that these turned out.
Now we also, with most sets these days, or a lot of them, we do a special bonus sheet. And these often come with reprints that are not standard legal. This set's no different. But I do love sort of the theming and the whole idea behind these star dates cards. So, Tom, what is the idea behind the star dates?
Yeah, for this collection of reprint cards,
Star
we
dates.
leaned into this. Well, first of all, a lot of the properties we
I think it's gonna be a full set,
showcased the
Clever.
Series and Voyager and Deep Space Nine to a certain extent in big ways. But here we lean into a lot of the movies, a lot of the different eras and episodes over here. We're showing it in a way that is like kind of a movie poster style, like little vignettes of moments from the movie or a scene to kind of tell a full story. And they turned out epic. The one that we're about to show. I don't want to steal your thunder.
It's not. There's no
Yeah.
thunder to steal because the thunder's in the card here.
Khan.
That is Khan Engineering
Khan is
Evil,
Shalesrid.
also known as Shoulder the Apocalypse.
Powerful magic card.
Powerful magic card.
It's amazing to see this version of Khan. We're definitely seeing other versions.
This makes no sense. A
One of the really
Phyrexian Praetor's
challenging things for
Khan.
me to try and figure out
He's
is
an enhanced
how did you want
human.
to represent the J.J. Abrams movies in the set, right? How do we want to kind of make that all work? And what we decided is we would not put them on cards in the main set, but we would feature those characters on this Stardate sheet. So that's where you'll see all the stuff from the Kelvin timeline showing up here, as well as some other alternate universes and various nooks and crannies. And I had a lot of fun going back through Star Trek lore and trying to find the alternate versions of characters that you could do and show up.
Yep.
And yeah, Khan is a very exciting one, but there's all kinds of cool reprints on this sheet.
There's a lot of these too, right?
There's a good number of these, and you're going to be able to get them in all booster types. All right.
And I'll note they're totally playable unlimited, by the way, too.
Yes.
So if you crack Shola Dread Unlimited, congratulations. It's a strong card. You should take it.
Yep.
But they're not standard legal.
No,
Right?
they are
Doesn't
not
change
standard
legality.
legal. Yep. All right. Now, one thing we haven't really talked about is, you hear it in a lot of what people talk about in Star Trek, which is exploring new worlds, seeing familiar worlds. But we haven't shown any lands yet. So can we expect some exciting lands in this set?
You absolutely can expect some exciting lands, especially one cycle of lands in particular. They're iconic, they're beloved, and you will find all 10 of them here in this set. They are, of course, the shock lands.
There they are.
All
I wanna
shock
show off
lands
so
coming
many different
black.
places that you visit, and the set has all kinds of cool lands, but these are 10 iconic ones that are here. And it also,
Wow.
I know many folks have asked, hey, with the change to standard rotation, the dual lands are going to be kind of out of sync. And don't worry, these are coming right at the end of the year, so they'll be fully in this year, and you won't have any kind of strange asynchronous stuff happen with the way the dual lands rotate. But these are some of the best dual lands ever made in Magic.
Yep.
They are iconic.
That's
and if you look
worth
at all
getting
of them,
Star
you'll see so
Trek
many
just for
cool
these.
places from across the galaxy shown off.
Shock
as
lands are
well
incredibly
as those
good.
flavor texts, I think, are amazing. There's such a wide range of flavor text on these cards that really tell off a lot of tiny little stories from different episodes or different characters, different series. So look through them all, enjoy them. But you'll find all 10 of these dropping in the main set, which is really exciting.
And as much as I like flavor texts, we decided to do something different.
Yeah, with the Booster Fun.
versions.
Tom, obviously, we couldn't have done these without doing Booster Fun. So
Yeah.
tell
So
us
we-
about these.
So we leaned into the Elkar's frame. And we got rid of like almost all the text.
I guess
here.
they
We
needed to
made
figure out a way to get
textless
people to buy the
shock
Star
lands. It's the
Trek.
first time ever that
Said,
we
fuck
did
it, we'll
this.
put the shock
And,
lands
I mean,
back in.
You know, I don't have to tell you the
Yeah.
art. is kind of
So
like
Chester,
flying
this is
through
my
your
same thought.
Amazing, yeah.
Fuck it, put the
very
shock lands in
excited
there.
to
They'll fucking buy it.
Crack the seal on this.
Yeah, we're getting a full shock land set.
Well, and Tom, again, I'm looking at to get back to the artists in classic. I'm seeing Sam Burley. I'm seeing Mark Poole. I'm seeing just really classic artists. How did you go about?
Great art.
selecting
Listen, they always
these
kill it on the
ones?
art. I'm never going to say the art looks like
look
shit.
at our legacy artists. We love the legacy artists coming back. Like Mark Poole is like in his prime, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't get enough of him. Honestly, let's clone him. I'm sure there's some time travel thing that we can do. Where we
There's
get
some cloning
multiple
episodes out there.
versions
No
of
problem, no problem.
Poole. Yeah. The approach here is for lands is just finding somebody that can do.
By the way, this shit
amazing
doesn't
things
count
with
till like
lights.
November.
We don't have a character to focus on, right? And in that way, this is like a specialty that a lot of art artists focus in on. Yeah.
And they won't just come in this frame, but we also have them in Surge Foil here. So again, we see the simulated Surge Foil Elkar's frame. These again are going to look gorgeous when you actually get your hands on them.
Yeah, the surge.
They
foil
always
with
kill
the
it on the
lighting
art.
effects in
The art has
is-
always been on point. I've never been worried about that.
Incredible. So all 10 of them coming in
It's
this
rare that
set.
you're going to see some not good art
Now,
or some issues with
Gavin, we
plagiarism
always
or
talk
whatever.
about
but-
Universes Beyond as being a great starting point for people to play Magic, to come in, just because, in this case, they're a fan of Star Trek. And so,
Mulligan, I
of
don't know if they
course,
added it
we
afterwards,
have
but I'm
welcome
certainly
decks
know
for
that
this.
they probably wanted to
We wanted
juice
to have
it no
a
matter
great
what.
introductory experience for people.
No
So there'll be
Borgs
welcome
yet.
decks for Star
We're
Trek.
waiting for
You'll be seeing
Borgs.
more about these in the next few weeks. But because they're going
Yeah,
to be
there's
kind of out
one.
in the world
There's
pretty
the
soon,
Borg
we
Queen.
wanted
So
to
the
show you
black
some unique
starter
cards
welcome
that are
deck
in
is a
these
Borg
decks. There are
Queen.
a number of unique cards. There's a rare and a mythic in each deck. We're just going to show this to you today. Now, these are not meant
Okay.
to be super flashy or exciting if you're a seasoned player. But if you're brand new and you're sitting down and playing Magic for the first time, it's supposed to be a cool encapsulation of that character. So here's up a card, for example, that buffs your creatures when he comes into play. And this operations officer that lets you spread some counters around a little bit. We'll kind of step through these a little bit. You'll see a few cool things. We got our first Spock that you're going to see right here. Honestly, draws a card every turn, nothing to be too sad about. And then a Q, which is something you'll see, not the only Q you'll see in this set. I'll put it that way. These are not in normal booster packs, of course. You'll not find these in your regular boosters.
So Q is its own
But you'll
species.
find them in these welcome decks. Now, let's pause on this black one for a little bit because this takes a little more explaining. There's kind of two interesting things going on here. The first are the Borg. So the way the Borg work in the main set, and also work here in the welcome deck, is we treated them kind of like artifact creature slivers. So they impact all your artifact creatures, and much like a hive mind, much like the Borg, you want to have a lot of them in play and grant their abilities to everybody. It's very cool. They're backwards compatible, of course, with other artifact creatures, but you can assemble all your Borg together and share all these abilities, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And the Borg Queen, of course, giving everyone +2/+0, great for that. And also,
Man, they're going to
assimilate.
go so good with the
So
Necrons.
this is a brand new mechanic.
This is the one that we said we'd come back to.
Yes, absolutely. This is a unique one. It actually started off as something just in the commander decks, as it turned out. And then I liked it enough that we pulled it for a few other cards because saying that the Borg were assimilating things was just so iconic. So there's not a ton of this in the main set at all. You'll find some in the Borg commander deck, of course. But what assimilating means is you take a creature, put it on the battlefield under your control, give it a +1/+1 counter, and it becomes a Borg. So you literally Borgify something, you turn it into a Borg. It is about as flavorful as you can possibly get.
Perfect.
And if you were listening close, you got a little bit of a sneak peek. Not a surprise one there, but there will be a Borg commander deck. We'll talk about the rest of the commander deck soon, but surprise. All right, we got 2 more of these. Let's take a look at the red welcome deck.
Yeah, here's another version of Kirk right here. There's a small Power Integrator theme in the main set as well that is expanded here a little bit. And your first look at a Klingon with the Klingon Strike Force.
There's Klingons.
turns out,
There's
turns
Klingons
out,
in this set?
we put Klingons in the Star Trek set. And then on the green one has a bit of a landfall theme, and you'll see landfall in the main set as well. We thought it was actually a great flavorful fit for the for Star Trek because you're literally going to planets. You're landfalling quite often, and so visiting.
These
a
are
lot
not
of places,
standard
perhaps
legal,
those
but
cool
it gives you a
homelands we saw
clue as to
earlier
what the
is a thing
Borg
you'll
are
do.
going to look
Not in
like.
this welcome deck, but you will do a little bit of landfalling here, and there's a lot of other cool stuff going on with lands. We'll show you further down the road.
Yeah. That's all the preview cards we have today, but this being the first look, of course, we need to take a look at the full product lineup and all the cool ways that you can interact with, play with, or collect.
They said they're
this
trying to
set.
get.
So, Gavin,
they said the
tell us a
reason
bit
they're
about
trying to
what we
get people
see
to
up here on the
order to
screen.
tell
Yeah, there's
stores
a
to
lot
order
of cool
ahead of
products
time.
beaming down with Star Trek, and let's talk about some of them here. So in the top left, you've got play boosters, of course, and right next to them are collector boosters, where you'll have a chance to open up one of those awesome headliner cards that we saw earlier.
Federation
Next to
is
those
Mardu.
are the pre-release kits. Go down to your
No, I'm
local
sorry,
game store,
Federation
play
is
in a
Jess
pre-release
Guy.
Star Trek. There's 2 different bundles
Klingon
here,
Fury
both
is
the
Mardu.
normal bundle and a Beam Me Up bundle. You'll find the details
Borg,
on all these
oddly
products
enough,
on our
is
website, of
Esper,
course, but there's 2
strangely.
different kinds of bundles for this set. We've got Draftnet making a return, the welcome decks we mentioned in the bottom right, but I want to take a moment and focus in on a few of these products in particular. So let's start with the commander decks. So of course we have 4 commander decks coming out with this set, both in a normal version and a collector's edition that is fully surge foil. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them, starting from the left to the right.
It's weird
So
that they
on the
did
way,
3
all the way
colors
to the
for
left,
every
we have
commander set.
Federation Fleet, a red, white, blue deck that features the time period of Picard and Janeway, and very much that era of the show. Next up, we have Landing Party, a green, white, blue deck that is all about the original series era and really tries to capture not just those characters, but even the aesthetic of the original series. Next up, if you're a Klingon fan, we have a whole deck for you, and you'll be doing plenty of attacking in Klingon Fury. It is a good day to die indeed with this red, white, black deck. Get in the red zone and attack with your Klingons. And finally, last but do not call them least, we have the Borg deck, a white, blue, black deck that will be maybe assimilating your opponents a little bit, turning their creatures into the Borg collective, and uses some of those artifact creature matter synergies we saw earlier. So a really cool mix of decks here and a lot of fun to play. But maybe your friend is new and wants to get into this for the first time. Of course, Universes Beyond is an awesome landing place for brand new players. Well, we have the perfect product for you, the Beginner Box. I think this is one of the best learn-to-play experiences we've ever done for Magic. It's the perfect place to land and start playing. So let your friend beam on down to Magic the Gathering, grab one of these, sit down, start playing, and teach them how to play with the Star Trek Beginner Box. Finally, there is something here that you don't see with every set. We've got 2 scene boxes. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on here.
Interesting.
Each of these has 6 brand new Magic cards, and they all connect to make a scene using the art that you see here on the front of the box. On the right, we have Enterprise Q, using one of the most peculiar and wild characters in all of Star Trek, Q, who is doing some real wild shenanigans, and I cannot wait for you to see the cards in this box. They are wacky. On the left-hand side, I mentioned earlier during Stardates that we didn't put the J.J. Abrams films in the main set. They're in the Stardates only, but there is one other place they show up, and that is here in Divergent Timeline. We wanted to give them a little bit more action, and so you'll find 6 cards here for your favorite characters from those movies.
That is everything that we have to show you today. So speaking of further down the road, we are going to take a break from Star Trek for a little bit. But for this first look, so that distributors, stores, and everyone can get their minds wrapped around this fantastic
We only saw
looking
one
set,
Q, but they're their own
We
species.
showed you some stuff today, and we're going to come
Which
back
I thought
with
they would
more
be
Star
gods.
Trek in late October.
know.
The set releases in November. In the meantime, we are going to be at MagicCon Amsterdam this weekend. You know, when you watch this, not when we're recording this. There's a whole time thing going on here. But we're going to be in MagicCon Amsterdam. There's going to be a preview panel. There's going to be so much going on that weekend. So make sure you pay attention this weekend, that weekend, all the weekends. But until then, we'll see you next week.
All right, folks. That was Star Trek. star tracks. That was a little bit of star tracks for you. They're tracking those stars. Don't know what else to say. I mean, the art looks good. The Borg look interesting. You know, I think they'll construct it and do a good job with it, as best as they can. But, you know, it's probably the set I'm least excited for. It's really going to have to wow me. It is interesting. It seems like it's got some meat on the bones there. But yeah, there are more Qs and Vorkles. That tracks, yeah. We'll have to see. It looks like we're getting a lot of questions answered. We saw the crystalline entity. We'll put the previews up on the Discord and all that. Yeah, we'll be back tonight. Next is Hobbit. So I don't know when we're doing our Hobbit first look. Maybe next Tuesday is Hobbit first look, because Hobbit comes out like August 11th. So Hobbit comes out in a month. Yeah, no, the aftermarket is gonna go nuts. Obviously, the aftermarket stuff is gonna go fucking crazy. So, Jester said he's soft. Thank you for that. Yeah, Kelvin and Kurtzman. Yeah, Enterprise is surprising. I thought everyone wanted to collectively forget Enterprise. That's shocking that that's there. So, I'm waiting for Hobbit. We have Hobbit, which should be really good. We have Reality Fracture coming up, which should be really good. You know, we have a couple of good sets coming up, and also the one thing about Star Trek is that it's almost rotation. It'll probably get a little bit better after rotation as well. So it should be really interesting. Comes out in November. We have December, and then rotation is the 1st in January. This weekend at MagicCon, they're going to be releasing all the information about the new sets coming out next year. I'm going to see if I can go live during MagicCon when they do the panels. I think they're in the middle of the night, so I might be able to do some preview stuff over MagicCon, because I think it's on the 17th. So I think I'll be able to go live the 17th, and we can discuss whatever panels they release from MagicCon, but we'll see that. Is the set after Hobbit UB? No, the set after Hobbit is Reality Fracture. No, we did not see any warp cards, unfortunately. We did not see any warp cards. We saw Assimilate. We saw Station, obviously, with spaceships and some other stuff like that. Yeah, no warp cards. I don't know if they'll do them. You would think that they would do warp. But we'll be back pretty soon with Enterprise. It was okay. I mean, it just draws. It's basically a crappier Bank Buster, which is, you know, was a good card, but wasn't that good. But we didn't see too many. It was the first look, and we'll get back to it. You know, we'll see what happens. I'm sure warp will probably be some sort of mechanic there, or at least maybe one of them will. At least one card will have warp. It might be a surprise mechanic or something like that on there. But honestly, the best card I saw so far was Beverly Crusher. She looks really fucking powerful. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you right there, folks. We'll be back tonight. I'm feeling a lot better. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to like the stream. It helps out a lot. I will get you out of here. So yeah, they didn't do the draft archetypes either, but we have a rough idea of who is what. Thank you all for coming, guys. Sir Stas, how you doing? Tom Navarro, Bonfire Toffee, Tree Mail, Jester, Mike D, Moha, Clever Handle, John Mack, and Cryptic Codex. Hillbilly, how you doing? Chris Cohen, Curtis Traham, how you doing? Welcome. MH Breath. Welcome, Sir Stas. Thank you all for coming. If I missed anybody, I apologize. We'll be back tonight. And feel free to go watch. I'm going to leave the video up so you can watch it again if you want to go back and look at some of the cards. And of course, they're going to be on Discord as well. So we'll see you in the next one, folks. Make sure to like and support the stream, all that good stuff. And we'll see you tonight.